All right, all right, all right. Welcome to CIT 15, week 2. And you're all like, yeah, you can go ahead and move to me. And you're all like, I'm still in week 1, Rio. What are you talking about? We're going to time travel for a minute, okay? So here's what we're going to do. You're going to do, for your notes, week 2 classwork. This is also for the online students, so they can do week 2 classwork with you, okay? Let me just make sure I'm in the shot. So here's what I'm going to do. In your notes, after you put week 2, put about, like that transition? By the way, let's go back to the screen so they can see that beautiful transition. Look at that. Wow. So in your notes, put about Rio, right? So the students online didn't get to do this. You all got to do this. We got to talk about some of the things to get to know each other, right? So I'm going to answer the questions you all answered, right? So start here. So what was my major? So I was actually in community college. I came from an ag background. My parents said, you need to take ag classes. So I did, and I didn't like it very much. I took my first computer class, and I'm like, that is for me, man. That's what I want to do. So what's cool is I'm actually teaching the class that I now took to get interested in this. I mean, talk about your full circle kind of trippy stuff, right? It's like when I get to show up and teach, I still kind of go, wow, this is so cool, and it paid me really good money, and it's awesome, right? So the other thing, this is about me. Oh, sorry, besides that, I got associate's science. I have a bachelor's in information technology. I have a master's in e-business. And I just love what I do. I love technology of all kinds, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So my major, that's what it was. I really majored in. I'm actually doing what I studied to do in school, which is really weird for a lot of people, because people study one thing and then they end up doing another. So here's the deal about me. Is that some of us talked about this earlier. I eat good food. So over the last 5 years, I've lost 85 pounds and I've kept it off eating a plant-based diet. I eat raw vegan. Anybody heard of raw vegan foods at all? Oh, by the way, let's show them. Everybody say hi. Right? Hi. Who are you waving? Who are you waving to? Everybody. We don't know, right? All those online students. Sorry, I meant to do that earlier, right? So remember, there's a whole group of students that are not in this classroom that are in this classroom with you, which is kind of cool, right? Taking online classes, which, by the way, when I did my major in e-business, I did it at National University. I did 100% online. And it was so cool and sometimes really hard. But online education has gotten a lot better. I don't know if you know this, but I really love it. So what did I have for breakfast, right? So I eat 100% plant-based, well, I should say 98% plant-based diet. And not only is it good for me, it's also good for the planet. I don't know if you know this, but the amount of meat that we collectively eat is one of the main contributors to pollution. Because the way we farm, the way we inject animals with hormones, it's horrible, right? I'm not telling you all how to eat. I'm just telling you the reasons I eat the way that I do. So it makes my internal environment, my internal feel awesome, and it makes me feel good about being in the world, because we all need to do something to change where we're going. Anybody agree with that? Because what's wrong with our world right now? Everybody, okay, so we do have an obesity problem, right? So I mean, that's one of the things, because not only does obesity make us healthcare-wise really hard, but it also makes individually it doesn't feel good, because I know what it feels like, and no one should be judged for that. I'm just going to tell you right now, judgment does not help anybody for that. What else is going on with our country that we need to address? Money issues, right? And we can talk about where that relates to food as well, because the thing is, you all are eating food-like substances. Most of you are not eating real food. Yeah. Environmental, that's what I started with, right? So again, I eat 100%, 98, and here's why I say 98. I have 2 chickens. I love my chickens. Love them, right? So eggs are expensive. I know what my chickens eat, so I do eat eggs once in a while, but typically plant-based. My wife is a raw vegan chef. She has a business here in Fresno. She has a food truck called Raw Fresno. I'm not promoting it. I'm just telling you, okay? So I eat how I like to live, right? So I have solar on my roof. I capture 70 to 80% of my water, which, by the way, water, big issue?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, how do you capture?
Yeah, so I actually have capture tanks outside of the kitchen, and we capture it, and I use that in the gardens. Well, I killed my grass a long time ago. I don't know about the fact that we still have lawns in this world. Amazes me with the water issues that we have. Okay, so that was all about what I had for breakfast, okay? So what's the best thing I did this summer? I spent 10 weeks in school. I spent 10 weeks from 8 in the morning until 5 at night, or 5 in the afternoon, in a class learning to code at a higher degree. And I'm gonna tell you, it kicked my butt. It was hard. But you know what? There's something about stepping up to a challenge. And even though I didn't complete everything that was thrown at me, I completed so much, I felt so good about myself. And any of you that have this where you attempt something and if you don't get it, you have this feeling of, oh my God, there's something wrong with me, just keep going. Don't give up, right? Just keep going. So the fun thing that I get to do, and part of what we'll talk about related to technology, that was actually the question after this one, I don't know if you remember it, right? So I have some cool, fun technology that I get to do. So here's one of them. I don't know if you guys gals have seen this. You know what this is?
Cardboard?
Yeah, this is Google Cardboard, right? So for $15, you can actually have a virtual reality where you just take your cell phone, you put that in there, and it's really a virtual reality goggle. And it's really fun. So if you want to play with that, we can do. The other technology that I have played with that I really find fun is Google Glass, right? Have you heard of this? What's kind of the fun thing, or kind of not fun thing that they call people that wear this? Anybody know? Nerds, yeah, okay, that's one word. Glass holes, okay? And the reason is because there's kind of this whole backlash against technology, especially up in the Bay Area. And people that wear these are kind of seen as elitist, technology elitist, right? Because we all know that technology is affecting every part of our world. We know this is happening. And in that part of the area, if you're not in tech, you're the minority anymore. So there's a backlash coming in some of this. So my cool thing that I got to do a couple years ago, I actually got to work for Google. I got to work in their Mountain View office teaching Android, and they sent me to London to teach. That was kind of like peak experience for me. They sent me to London, and I got to teach some of the best computer science students, and it was like phenomenal. So I love tech. You know, recently my phone took a dive, and I miss my watch so much. I still have it, but being connected, you know, this wearable technology is really awesome. I mean, having that access to be able to reply to text messages, and I know this is first world problems. How many have heard that term? First world problems, right? These are first world problems, right? How can tech help larger issues? I really think we're starting to see this, right? I don't know if you've heard about, just recently, Google released this thing called the Rooftop Project. Anybody heard of this? It's actually in Fresno. You can map your house. You can actually go to this project. If you want to search for it, it's called Rooftop Project Google. And what it does is it shows you how much sun you get and how much you could save on electricity by having solar on your roof. And there was only 3 cities selected for this, and Fresno was one of them because one of the engineers' mother lives here. I hear a beep beep. Are we okay? Do we all need to run? No, okay. So I dig technology. I use technology all the time. Matter of fact, I think I even said in my intro video, I get a little weird when I don't have it. Okay? Anybody have that where you lose? Like when I lost my phone, it was weird for me. You know, I had to really kind of step back and go, okay. So the other thing is, here's the last question on the list, right? The thing about the time, I really chose this time to teach because I like students being awake. And I noticed in morning classes, many students would walk in like, not really being awake. So I said, I want to teach in the afternoon. So what's the biggest challenge, not for me, but for you to pass this class? Here's one of the things I see, and some of you already said it, right? One of the things, are you beeping? Yay, we found the beeper, yay. So one of the things I see and I tried to mitigate is that's why I use the calendar to try to help you pass this class. And the other thing I try to do to help you pass this class is I grade, like I said, 2 times a week. You will always know where you're at in this class. So if you miss something, you're going to know how that impacts your grade, okay? And I give you this whole late points remove thing, okay? So I try to help you, but you got to help yourself. If we work together, I know we can make this happen. Okay, any questions about that? Any questions about any of that stuff? No? No? Okay, so what you're working on right now is the first part of week 2 classwork. So just move to the screen real quick. So there's a second part, and this is really cool. you're going to watch 30 minutes from a show on PBS called Humanity from Space. So you're going to start at the 1 hour point, and you're going to watch to 1:30, and you're going to take notes on that. And that will be what you'll have for classwork for next week, in addition to the notes that you have, right? So hopefully you're getting used to this, right? So this idea, so what would be the first heading would be about Rio, and then what would be the second heading? Yeah, humanity from space, right? And then you'll take notes on that. Now, starting in week 3, we're going to use Google Docs for all your note taking. I think I even previewed this for some of you because using Google Docs is so much better technology than Blackboard. Blackboard is really a bummer. Remember the whole bullets and how we had to make bullets work? Oh, that's crazy. Google Docs is awesome. So I will have a short video for week 3 classwork so that we convert you all to using Google Docs. And here's the idea. You'll have one doc that will represent all of your notes for this class so that when you leave this class, you'll have one place to refer to notes when. Okay? So the other thing you have coming up, and remember, hopefully you're getting used to this whole calendar idea, and this is starting to help you get organized, right? So look forward. Like, where are we heading, right? Oh, by the way, if somebody asked me this earlier, if you see more than one class, just make sure you go through and get rid of the class so that on your to-do, you only see that one class. So you all, by the time the online students see this, they'll be in week 2 classwork, right? So they'll have a classwork, as you will, for that time. And then the week after is when we start on the all-important My IT Lab, okay? And that really is why you want to watch that week 1 classwork and understand how to get the textbooks for this class, okay? You all need to get a photo. That's actually already coming up, so I think we'll cover that in class. Let's see, is there any other questions? No questions? Really, that totally makes sense? So so as a review, how do I eat? 98% raw vegan, okay? Because I've lost quite a bit of weight and kept it off, right? So it's one thing to lose weight, it's another thing. You ever had to watch people do this? They lose it and then they find it again. I lost it, right? And then sometimes we come back to a different set point, right? And a lot of it is because we're not eating real food, right? And not eating real food is not good for you. So be environmental, change the world, right? Change the way you eat, change the way you see the world. Because the other thing is, I've battled with depression, I'll just be honest with you. And when I changed the way I eat, it changed the way I saw the world. I was amazed. If it hadn't happened to me, I would have called BS on that one. Okay? But really, changing the way I ate changed the way I saw the world. Because when you're not eating real food, your body's always starving. You're eating food, and you think, what's wrong with me? I'm eating all this food, but I'm always hungry. Well, if you're not eating real food, you're always going to be hungry. Okay? And people go, well, eating real food is too expensive. You ever heard this whole paycheck idea? Whole Foods, whole paycheck? Right? There's how many of you heard that, right? So actually, I saw something about that today, and there's a lot of great farmers markets in Fresno. We live in some of the best farming country in the country right here, right? And there's some awesome local farmers, so find it. Yeah?
Are there any co-ops in Fresno?
Oh yeah, there's several co-ops in Fresno. There's the Farmer's Daughter, there's several. I can give you a list of co-ops here in Fresno, okay? And CSAs, which is community-based agriculture, okay? All right, let's show them. Let's show them. Everybody wave goodbye, right? And then show the screen. And then we'll do a wonderful fade out and stop the recording.